Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Minutes with Milo show, Thursday night edition. Currently, it's the only edition. So, be lucky you found it. Glad I'm here. Glad you're here. If you're not watching it live, that's fine. You'll see it as a video, even though I'm streaming it live now. Come back next week, Thursday. Check it out live. Call me up on the telephone. See if I can put that on there. Look at that. The magics of computers. Okay, so tonight's show is about, I'm just going to say it, moving a huge 7-story building. Why would you ever do that? Who would ever think you could do that? I guess my mind, probably why I'm just doing this and not, the dude that owns Facebook or something like that. My mind would never go to the fact that, why not move it? Who says I can't move that stupid building? It's 7 stories high and it's huge. My mind would never go there. If somebody said, that building doesn't need to be there, it needs to be over there, I'd probably say, well, let's tear that one down and you just put one over there. And that's what they were going to do. They were going to tear it down and rebuild it someplace else. But they hired some guys that were a lot smarter than me that said, whoa, wait a minute. You really don't need to tear that down and rebuild it just right there. Let's just move it over there. We can do it, they said. And they did it. So, how did it get into my mind that I wanted to do a show on it? Through social media. I don't know. Instagram, Facebook, X, one of them there things. I saw, I won't call it time-lapsed. It was like a series of pictures taken. I don't remember what to call that. Strung them all together. Wasn't a movie. It was individual pictures. They have a name for that. And it showed the building turning, and we'll find it and I'll show it to you. Showed the building turning into its new spot. So I don't remember what I put in the title. It was so long ago, like maybe an hour and a half ago, that I put in there. But let's see. We're going to get on here. We're going to look at this and bring that up. Get me shrunken down here. Look out now. And put that over to there. Oh, let's see that. Nope, that doesn't move it. Put that there. Does that move it? Oh yeah, that moves it. Put that over there. Sorry, phone number. Put you by the wayside also. And let's see. This is the one here. I found this article. Well, that is just not lined up either. Okay, here we go. Instead of moving the mountains, they moved a building. So this is from indianahistory.org. It's a blog written by a young lady, I believe. She doesn't get credit here. Let's see. Whoop, let's just bypass all that. Did you catch any of that? Here we go. Cleo Redmond is an assistant in archives library. She's pursuing an MLIS at Indiana State University. Summers fishing in Alaska. Reads books. So she wrote this blog, and I don't know exactly when it was written. Doesn't really say. Anywho, doesn't really matter. Give her credit for it. It's not bad. It's got some pictures in it. Yay, pictures. So, excuse me. Could it really been November the 21st, 2024? Look at that right there on the screen. Somebody should have just knocked me on the head and said, yo, dummy, it's in the picture. Okay. And this is a pretty cool picture. You can see, I love these old pictures. Why do I love these old pictures? It's just crazy the way these guys are. So this first guy, he's in some kind of bibbed overall sack. But I swear it looks like he's smoking a pipe. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know what he's got, kind of machinery he's got going on. This guy here in the back, he's got him a handle. The guy there's got a handle. So all these gentlemen in here are doing the same thing, except for this guy. I don't know. He's holding his pants up. All right. So there's the steel beams. And I started looking at this picture pretty close. And they bolted the building to these beams. Now, I don't think this article gets into the really what I would like to see, the nuts and the bolts of how did they actually go about it, how many, steel beams do they use, all that kind of stuff, all the down and dirty things that my mind want to know about. This just kind of glosses over the, well, I won't say glosses, it just kind of gives you a wide view of what took place. So it says down here, between October and November in 1930, architects and engineers rotated a building in downtown Indianapolis without disturbing the business inside. Now, if you saw my post on Facebook, it was basically they moved it and nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that they'd moved it, which was kind of clickbait, but you know what I mean. They knew it was going to be moved, but they didn't feel it. And that's what this first sentence talks about. So let's see. Let me jump back over here to this one. This one gives I'm going to say it gives a little more detail. See, the headquarters of Indiana Bell, a subsidiary of AT&T serving the U.S. state of Indiana, was housed in an 8-story, I'm sorry, I said 7, 11,000-ton building in 1907. In 1929, the phone company decided they needed a larger building. So in 22 years, which is, I'm sure they were around 1907. They were around when, the first phones were being used. And we'll see some pictures of it. But what this is like one of those operator stations. So back in the day, you just picked up the phone, turned the crank, sent some voltage through the lines, and the operator picked up and said, yo, what do you want? And you just told them what you want or who you wanted. I want to speak to the Minutes with Milo show. And might have to tell them where it's at. And they would call another operator down the line. The next thing you know, they found the operator that was in, my jurisdiction, my region, my area. Said, oh yeah, I know how to connect that. And they all went and connected the lines and listened in on the conversations all the time. All the time. So, does that sound like wind to you all? Maybe it's an airplane. Kind of loud in my room here. Yeah, I think it's an airplane. I'm sorry. So this is what was in this building. Just desks upon desks upon desks of operators, switchboard operators. In 1929, the phone company decided they needed a larger building, but they couldn't just demolish the old building because it was providing an essential service to the city. It housed those uh, switchboards. The building was also inconveniently located on the same site where they wanted the larger structure. Why didn't they just pick a different location? In the end, it was decided that the old building would be moved to the back of the plot to make room for the new building. So here it is. Now, I wish, we'll look at that other article, but I wish they had put these things in sequence. This is not how the building's set. I think this is about halfway, just from the way this sidewalk looks. I think this is about halfway through it. So we jump back to the first article. Historically known as the Indiana Bell Building, has gone through quite a few name changes throughout history. It was established in 1883. The Central Union Telephone Company of Indianapolis was one of only 3 telephone firms serving the city. And that seems like a lot. I mean, it had to be a big city even back then because it had 3 telephone companies taking care of it. By the 1920s, it and 4 others were consolidated into the Indiana Bell Telephone Company. Somebody was making big bucks. He bought them all and brought them all in under, one business, employing nearly 5,000 people and serving approximately 170,000 telephones within Indiana. This company was part of the American Telegraph and Telephone Company, commonly known as AT&T. After a breakup and a few acquisitions in the late 90s, the business became AT&T Incorporated. So here's a picture that I was talking about before. Desk or chair, location, whatever you want to call it. One right after the other, one after the other, and the other, another, just telephone operators. Plugging in, changing around, all those telephone connections. So, and I guess these ladies here standing up were the supervisors. And here's what's kind of funny. I mean, you can see the windows over the, I guess, the furniture. Call it, I don't know what you'd call it, the switchboard. If you look at the building, you see it here, it's just all windows, all the windows. I would love to know, did each floor of that building house these desks, the switchboards? Were there that many switchboards, or were there administrative offices? I just don't know. And I would have put the switchboards with their backs to the windows so you could, why have those windows and then cover them up with switchboards? So Indiana Bell Building was constructed in 1907, continued operations through its name, continued operating through its name changes and business consolidation. It still stands today at 204 North Meridian Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. In 1929, Indiana Bell determined it needed a larger building to meet business needs and developments, and initially planned to demolish the original building and build a new one. However, they hired von Gut, Bond, and Mueller, architects for the job, who determined the building need not be demolished, but simply rotated 90 degrees and moved 100 feet west. Okay, that's a lot. 100 feet is a lot when you're moving a building, in my book. With people inside, remind you of that. People were inside. It was such a intricate part of the, they couldn't do without their telephone systems for 170,000 people or whatever. So they had to keep it going. They had to keep lights on, power on. They had to keep the switchboards going. They had to have heat. They had to have you know, water, all that stuff. So they had to extend all those services. You know, and it's one thing, they don't tell you how many cables, but let's just say it was way too many. And they had to move it, extend the cables at least 100 feet, because that's how far they were moving the building. And water lines, sewer lines, power lines. Now, was it 24/7? I bet you it was. I bet they had maybe not as many operators at night. There's Garthog. How's it going? You know, because it's the 1920s. I doubt if people were making phone calls at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. But I bet it was running 24/7. Yep, moving buildings. Excuse me. So in 1930, they moved the Indiana Bell Telephone Company building, and they moved it, rotated it 90 degrees, and moved it 100 feet west from its location, while it still did business. And it was operators. I'm assuming the building was full of them, but maybe not. So here's that picture again. According to various local newspapers' reports, the rotation began on Tuesday, October the 14th, 1930. The building was rotated on rollers and T5-ton jacks. I'm guessing 5-ton jacks. Monitored by 18 men, moving the 11,000-ton building in 31 days, ending on Saturday, November the 15th, 1930. Business continued during the rotation by splicing in heavily armored cables to operate with plenty of slack during the movement. The jacks rotated the building at a rate of 15 inches per hour. 15 inches per hour. Meaning employees within the building couldn't even tell it was moving while they worked. During this process, more than 500 long-distance telephone circuits were in use. Pictured below in both photos, a sort of steel sidewalk was constructed to allow entry and exit from the building. Ultimately, the team managed to get the building within 1/64th of an inch from where it was calculated in the plans of Von Gut, Bond, and Mueller. 1/64th of an inch. I don't know how, I don't have a ruler. But, 30 seconds, sixteenths, eighths, quarters, halves, inches, and then it's twice, the 30 seconds. So 64ths of an inch from where it was calculated in the plans that the architects come up with to move. So this picture right here says 10/16/30. All right. So here it is. See, left Indiana Bell Telephone Company building being moved. This is Bass Photo Collection. Indiana Bell building during moving process. I wonder what that says right there. I think that says July 7 something right there. I wish I could orientate these pictures. You think this is that structure there? Because this is a semicircular sidewalk they built so people could go into the building while it was being moved and do their work. Following the rotation of the building, a 7-story structure was, okay, this is where I got it. A 7-story structure was constructed to serve as company headquarters in the spot the Bell Building had been moved from. This construction was completed in 1932, with additions and an annex being added in 1967. It doesn't really show where it was, the beginning, of where it ends. But what I find interesting is another thing that I find interesting about this. Yeah, 1/64, I'd call that good. So I guess they measured it with, the same thing they measured like with uh, survey equipment, I would assume. But here is the building in its street level. See how it's street level right there? I mean, the only thing there's no stairs. You just step off the sidewalk from the sidewalk right into the building. You don't have to go anywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. I don't know why it said it was 8. But let's go back down here. Now see, it's street level. I don't know if that was before or after, but it doesn't really matter. Here's street level on this building. And if you look at this picture, you can actually see under the building right here. I don't think, do you think they dug this part of it out to gain access to under the building? I don't know. Let's see if I can find the, there's those again. Well, there was a building right here. Looks like they tore it down. Let's see what this says. Figure 4, as the building appeared on October 14th, ready for the move to start. On October the 18th, the structure had reached the end of the straight move. So I guess what it's saying is this is where it started. They moved it down towards this building to get in the length that was straight. So then down here, October 25th, showing curved walk in place. The building turn has been started. October the 28th, the turn of the building was becoming quite apparent. So here's the little covered breezeway. And then here it is on, 3 days later. That's how far they'd moved it. Because it was here, now it's there. So those guys are really jacking around down there. 2 days later, October 30, shows 1/3 of the turn complete. You know what? I was impressed just thinking they moved one building like this. I mean, that impressed the bejeebies out of me. But when you look down here, this front building is connected to the back building, and they're turning them both. See, in this top picture here, big building, smaller building, they're all attached. And then when they move it, they move this front building and the back building together. And then they start to rotate it. And here it is, 1/3 of the turn complete. On November the 1st, the structure was moved around to the halfway point. November 4th, the front face of the building has now disappeared from view. So you can see now, you can see inside the building. So a tower, a larger tower. This tower is the same as the second, but it's open in the middle like a big courtyard. They moved that whole thing. By November 6th, only 1/4 of the right angle turn was left. November 8th, the rear of the building begins to show its picture. November the 11th, next to last day and only a few feet to go. On the afternoon of November the 12th, the building move had been completed. And here are the pulling cables, trackage, and arrangements for public to view operations. So they had to dig down below ground level. They had to, because here's street level. And if you look at the building, where is the original? Give me a picture of the building. Okay, here we go. So look at the streets here around the building. They had to dig all that up. I mean, they had to dig up the streets in order to get down into it, into the pit around it, so then they could get the stuff under it to then move it. I mean, I don't know. They had a bunch of winches. Let's see, somewhere it mentioned it here. Rotated. They had 5-ton jacks monitored by 18 men moving an 11,000-ton building in 31 days. It doesn't say. They had this other picture down here. Pulling cables, trackage, and arrangements for public to view operations. So they were using cables for sure, attached to the steel beams. That's not what we wanted. So I wonder, I want to find that little video that I watched. Well, that's steam culture. The one I saw, just a little old multi-frame thing. All right, let's look at this one here. This is on YouTube, maybe. Awesome Engineering channel. So this is what I saw online. It was just that little piece where they took all those pictures and stitched them and made that move. So basically, this guy did what I'm doing, is showing you the pictures. He's got a little better technique than me, but this is what I had really looking for, was this little sequence of photos right here that they put together in order people could see it. And that's what I saw on the internet when I said, what? They moved that building like that? That was crazy. So I looked up to see what the largest building was that's ever been moved. Now this one was 11,000 tons, which still just blows my mind. So the largest building ever moved in the U.S. was the Fairmount Hotel in San Antonio, Texas. See what that bad bama jamma look like. They don't have pictures. Well, what good of a site is it that doesn't have pictures? Alright, so Fairmount Hotel move. See if we can find something on the internet. Fairmount Hotel move. So that was 37 years ago in 22. San Antonio's 1,600-ton Fairmount Hotel was moved to whatever. Probably in the 6th, no? I said 22 years ago. 85, moving guru Terry Emmer and Emmer International. Alamo architect planned to hoist the Fairmount on wheels. Put it on wheels. What do you think the daggone weight rating was on those wheels? Put that out. There's a picture window with a pigeon on it. Yay. Wow, it looks like a derelict place, man. February 11th, 1985, moving guru Terry Elmer and Emmer International, Alamo Architects, planned to hoist the Fairmount Hotel on wheels and move it 3 blocks to 401 South Alamo Street. The multi-story building weighed 1,600 tons or 3.2 million pounds. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's worth moving. There's Guido. Bulldozer. Oh, check him out. What is that? Huh. Archaeological dig at the site of the Fairmount Hotel. Or they uncover some daggone Indian burial ground or something. A worker shims the archway on the bottom of the hotel for support. Boarded up the windows. Ooh, crews prepare the new site for the Fairmount Hotel. Digging below ground. Getting it all flat and ready. What? Market Street Bridge over San Antonio River was closed for reinforcements in order for the hotel to cross over the bridge. They moved that building over the bridge. I'm just, this was in 1985. So they've been moving buildings for decades. What really blew my mind on the Bell building was it was 1930. 1930. There it is still. Ooh, look at all the tires. Some of the 36 rubber-tired hydraulic dollies that carried the Fairmount Hotel down the street. Huge I-beams went under the hotel and through the back under the Fairmount hotels. There it is up on blocks. It's prepared to be moved. The Market Street Bridge over San Antonio River was closed for reinforcements. I already knew that. Wow. They went to town. Road closed. Yeah, it'd be hard just to move the I-beams. No kidding. Excuse me. Everybody standing around. There they are. What beer are we drinking? I bet that's a PBR and he's smoking his cigarette. Yep. Pete Frieson, John Mitchell, and Terry Emmett, who headed the move, celebrate at a moving experience party. That was March 31st, 1985. Yeah, it looks like a PBR. I don't know. Kind of funny. He might be having a Corona. He looks like a fancy pants drinking beer man. I don't know who these, Simon and Garfunkel, one of those two right there. I love these pictures. Now, this dude is got his hard hat on. I don't know what he's doing, sticking his finger in that pulley. I don't know what he's doing. But he's standing there with his daggone Docksiders on. This guy's got the boots and the pants. It looks like he's been doing the muddy work, but no hat. The guy's got on Docksides. That's killing me. Ooh, look at this dude. Got his cigar. His hands look a little rough, man. Hands look a little rough. Ooh, Pete Frieson, director at Paramount Move. He's the director of the move. Huh. He's directing it. How could you go to the wrong spot, right? So they're moving it across the bridge. I wouldn't be wanting to stand it under the bridge when they moved that thing across. Once they got there, I'm sure there's a lot and a lot to do to get it back. There we go. Crews removed the wood foundation of the old site on the Fairmount Hotel. Think they looked for money under the hotel. Yeah, safety third. What if anybody got in there and started digging around, see if there was any buried treasure under that thing? I would have to get the metal detector out and get in there, see what was going on. So this, you can't see him here, but there's a guy off to the front of this. He's got cowboy boots on, white t-shirt and cowboy boots. So, a lot of gravel being put down. Crews lay gravel in the street to raise the street level to the height of the median. Huh. Dude's got a lot of pictures of it. I'll give it that. This guy's in tennis shoes. Looks like those, what do they call those? Started with an A. Axes? Ax? Oh, I can kind of see it in my head. Not Adidas. Crap. Now I can't think of it. That's what they look like. Those brand of shoes that I can't tell you what they are because I can't remember. Oh, she's so excited she fainted. Come on, Grandmama, get up from there. Don't be like that. This guy's in his dress shoes, his wingtips. Ooh, look at the Mustang. 5-liter. Back here looks like a Cougar. You can't see it backing up behind there. Well, the motel room. Alright. So that was a little heavier building that they moved there. But still yet, they moved it in 85. Not 1930. So, let me see if I can find these things. It's A6. Is that it? Yeah. A6. See the pattern? The stripes, they're on all their shoes pretty much. Oh no. What did I do with the do? What? Oh, did I close it? Oh, did I? I did. I closed it. Oh well. Now we'll never know for sure, but I'm saying it's true. So it must be true. So they moved the building at first without turning it. So they scooted it down. Then they turned it to fit in the new spot. I mean, that's crazy. Nobody could feel it being moved. And I thought moving houses was crazy. I guess I am sadly mistaken. When I thought moving a house was a big deal, apparently moving buildings is a biggest deal yet. Now I looked up, I'm not going to go through them, but I looked up some of the biggest buildings ever moved, and there's been some in China. I mean, you know, just what you'd expect. All the way around the world, people have been moving buildings and homes and I guess cats and garages and all that stuff for a long time. But I just thought that was crazy that somebody would look at that and look, dude, man, you don't need to tear that down. Let's just move that. Let's just move it 100 feet that way, and then we'll put it on its side, and we'll turn it around and stand it back up. How did they ever come up with these ideas that they could move it? Because they like to move it. They want to move it. I don't know. Craziness. Close that out. All right, so I don't know what to say. They do what they want to do. They did it. Worked out. That lady said it was still operational. I had read one story that it wasn't operational, that they ended up tearing it down at some point and building another building there. I don't guess it matters much to MwM. Tons of money there, telephone business. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe to the channel. Come back next Thursday for a live show. If you haven't seen a live show, come on through. It's something totally different than what you're normally used to. Even though you watch these later, it's all different. Different vibe. Put out a whole new different vibe when I'm live as I am when I'm recorded live. So, anyway, that's it. Garthog, appreciate you. Toodles. Toodles of noodles. Noodles of toodles. And I hope y'all enjoyed it, learned something. Leave me a comment. Thumbs up, thumbs down, a wave sign, a high sign, anything like that be appreciated. Oh yeah, They say you're supposed to share. Man, I don't. Just leave me a comment. Let's make this simple. We'll start out small. Leave me a comment. Tell me what's going on, and I'll accept that. It'll be good. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.